Hello and welcome back to the course. So in this video, we're going to move back to your LinkedIn profile to actually keep building it out. So you've gone ahead, you've searched for some good jobs that you're looking for, you've looked at the job descriptions, you've figured out what skills you have, what maybe you need to work on, and now we have some of the keywords we need to actually build out the rest of your LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to stick with Jen here and keep building out her profile, and I'm going to talk about some of the keywords that I would use if she was looking for a cybersecurity analyst role, and we're just going to make up some skills for her. For your end, make sure you're actually putting skills you actually have or knowledge that you actually have. So as we want to add sections to our LinkedIn profile, we can do so easily. We can just click this Add Profile Section button right here in the center of your profile. This will allow you to add any sections that you need in there. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, by default, LinkedIn shows what they kind of believe are the core areas that you might want to put in your profile. Now, we're not going to add all of these, like career break. We're not adding that in or anything like that. You could do it on your profile. I just won't be adding it in here on Jen's. LinkedIn also has some recommended areas, which we'll add some of that here, and then some additional areas as well. So if you got like patents or you've won some awards, even if they're from school, like honor roll or something, you can list that in there, right? It just helps beef up your profile a little bit. For the purposes of this video and the next couple of videos, I'm going to skip all these additional ones and not add any of that stuff in there at all, but you're welcome to do so on your end. Again, with recommended, the only couple I'm going to add in are the top and bottom, the featured, and I'll actually add certs as well. I'll give Jen a couple certs, but add featured, licenses, certs, and then the recommendations. And I'll talk about all those as you come through them in this course. So let's go to the About section. This is the one we want to add in first. So your About section is, think of this as your 90-second elevator pitch, right? So if you got in the elevator with your dream boss, or if you're a business owner, your dream client, but if you want to be a worker in somebody else's company, your dream boss, your dream hiring manager, if you got in the elevator with them, like what would you say, right? How would you actually show your value where they would say, you know what, I need to hire you. Can you start Friday, right? Can you start Monday, whatever. This is where you do that. Now, one key thing to remember is the first couple of lines here are going to be what people can see until they click more, right? So most people are lazy and are never going to click more. So you want the first couple of lines to like capture people, right? So what I would do here for Jen in particular, if she's open to cybersecurity roles, I would literally just take what was said in my headline and put it here, right? So I'd put something like I'm open to cybersecurity roles. And you could do something similar if you're looking for certain jobs. List that first in a sentence, open to cybersecurity roles. Now pick one, don't pick 27 different cyber jobs and say I want to be a pen tester and an analyst, whatever, because then people are like, well, you don't know what you want to do. So why would you ever want to work in my company? Like, why would I ever hire you? So pick one thing, right? Pick one thing. Pick one job role you want to do, you want to start with, and do everything about that until you get that job. Then you can always be a pen tester later. If you start in sales or if you start as a cybersecurity analyst or SOC analyst or something, you can always later in your career move to a pen tester. People do it all the time. But for the purposes of trying to get that first job, you have to have clarity on exactly what you want to do. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to type out a short About section for Jennifer or Jen. It won't be as much as I may normally put in there, but just to give you a kind of context of how I might list it here to make it easy to read and also easy to show the value that I bring. All right, so I've typed a short one here. You have 2,600 characters. I've used maybe 460-ish or so characters, but you do have a lot of additional room here that you could use if you want to. I do recommend that you add in some additional real estate for your profile. But again, start out someplace, right? You can always add more later. You can always adjust it later. One key thing here is you want to write this in first person. What does that mean? That means I'm writing it. That means I'm not saying Jen Williams is open to cybersecurity analyst careers. She does this. She does that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I, right? First person. I am open to cybersecurity analyst careers. And so you want to write it in first person because that's how you want your LinkedIn profile to be. That's the appropriate way to do it on LinkedIn. A lot of people do it in third person. They hire someone on Fiverr or Upwork or something to do it. Make sure yours is first person so it looks like it's actually you and not just a generic profile doing so. So you notice here that I mentioned what I'm looking for, right? So I'm open to cybersecurity analyst careers. and that allow me to do something, right? A value, which is basically protecting data and services. And I list some of the skills here, and then I also relist them. Why do I do that? Because some people like sentences, some people like bullet points. That's really the main reason. Now you could get fancy, you can use emojis or something like that if you wanted to, instead of these little ticks, but the ticks keep it pretty clean. There's no clutter, it's very easy to read here. So I'm open to cybersecurity analyst careers, I'm skilled in Splunk, Python, etc. And then I do that again, right? Skilled in, bam, 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 right? And list some of the actual tools that I'm familiar with. And then knowledge of. If you recall from when we looked at the GRC job description, some of those wanted experience with different regulations and frameworks. So I just want to put if I have knowledge of certain things. Maybe I don't have hands-on doing things with HIPAA or PCI DSS or anything, but I'm familiar with these, right? And that's all I want to list because I just want these to be keywords that pull up my profile when a recruiter or hiring manager is searching. And then what I usually recommend everyone does here as well in the About section is just add something interesting about you. So LinkedIn, even though it's professional, all that stuff like that, we're still humans, right? It's still a human connection. So you want your profile to like trigger someone to be, hey, tell me about this or that, right? So as an example, on my profile, I actually say about my TV show, right? Hey, I've got a TV show and I've been featured in a number of publications, etc., and media outlets. Those are different conversation starters, right? So mine isn't just like boring technical, here's my skills, blah, 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 like a resume. It's also adding something that can contribute to a conversation, a meaningful conversation. So here for Jen, I've just added that she loves to travel, been to, over 35 countries. And I also give a call to action here. I say, connect and ask me about the volcano experience. So now there's curiosity, right? So if you read this, you read her about section, you're going to be like, oh, huh. Well, let me send her a connect request real quick, especially if you're a hiring manager or something. You're going to, hey, let me connect with her and I've got to find out about this volcano experience. And that sparks up a conversation between you and Jen. Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. You start swapping travel stories, right? All of a sudden, Jen gets told about a job that hasn't even been posted by HR yet at this company because she's had this relationship with the hiring manager. And you say, hey, I just got out of a meeting, Jen. I know a while back I looked at your profile. You're looking for analyst roles. Are you still looking? Because I literally just got the budget to hire someone. If you're still looking, I'd love to get your resume so I can interview you this week. And that's why, right? That's the because behind putting some kind of a fun fact or something interesting about you. Now, of course, you don't want to put something illegal like, hey, I robbed banks on the weekend. Please don't do that. And please don't do the bank robbing anyways. But put something like a fun fact, something you like to do, a hobby you like to do. You never know what might be the thing that connects you to that other person. A long time ago when I was a kid, I built a maze for worms, so earthworms, and I used dirt to basically get the worms to go through the maze. And that's a conversation piece, right? When I tell people that, they get excited, like they want to figure out how I built it, what did I do, how I actually trained the worms, etc., right? It's a conversation piece, and that's all you want the last part of your profile on the About section to be. It's just something interesting, right? Something interesting, because if I've read this far in your profile, at the end here, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, something different, right? Because I see all your skills, blah, blah, blah. But this is interesting to me, this last part. Connect and ask me about the volcano experience. I'm going to send you a connect request and say, you know what? I've got to figure out what happened there. Like, did a volcano erupt? Did they drop a camera in the volcano? Did someone get left behind? Was there lava flowing? Like, what happened there? I have to know, right? Did they climb a volcano? So it makes you wonder, and it's a curiosity and gets people to actually connect with you and spark up those conversations. Because again, at the end of the day, the biggest thing you could do for your career is proper networking. So this is the About section that I created for Jen. What you want to do on your end, list out what role you're trying to go for and list out some of the skills that you have. Also kind of tick them out in a bullet point list here as well. Again, just so it's easier for people to read. And then list out anything you're knowledgeable of that you're seeing in those job descriptions that you're just knowledgeable of, but you don't have the hands-on skills with. List that under knowledge, right here in the About section. Again, so it pulls up your profile in the keyword search. And then think through a fun fact. And if you've never traveled or whatever, that's fine. But think about something that you can do. Can you cook? Right? Are you good at cooking or baking or something like that? Do you build things with your hands? Are you very creative? Do you build different things with your hands? Can you repair cars? Like what can you do, right? And all of us can do something. We're talented at something or some things. So list that there, right? Make that a fun fact. It's a fun fact, right? Hey, let's have some fun here, right? We don't have to be serious all the time. Too many people are serious in life. Life is way too short for that. So fun fact here, end your about section. And when you're done with that, just click on save. And what you're going to notice is that it's going to add that to your profile. So here under the about section. Now, as I mentioned, right, first couple of lines are all you see. So what we've done here, and by spacing down, and I don't know if you had noticed that when I was showing you the other screen, but by spacing down, putting a little space here, this fourth line shows skilled in, and then it makes me, right, if I want to find out anything more about you, I've got to click the see more. I have to, right? Because skilled in, I don't see anything. I've got to click see more. It's just human psychology, right? So you want people to click this about section. This is basically you, again, that 90-second elevator pitch, you trying to sell yourself. So that's why we structure it this way as well, right? Just take a sentence or two at the top, put a space, put skilled in, and then bullet point out your skills and your knowledge and all that stuff, because it forces people to click see more. Now I can see all these other things, right, that you listed in there. But if you just list like one sentence and that's it, then I have no incentive as someone reading this to click more, right? I have no incentive. But if you put it the way I just showed you, right? So line 1, right? Maybe a line 2 if you got a second sentence, but space down to the fourth line, that's where you put skilled in, and then tick out your list, because people have to click it and expand it to see the rest of your list. So that's what you want to do as far as structure-wise for the about section. And again, the about section is you selling yourself. So listing key skills there that you have, key knowledge that you have that can help you land a job and also get found in the keyword search. And don't forget at the end of the about section to always add in some kind of a fun fact. Again, it's just a great conversation starter. Also add that call to action as I did here, right? They connect and ask me about whatever, right? I love to work on cars. Connect and ask me about the 57 Chevy I worked on. I love to cook. Connect and ask me about my spaghetti dish, my world famous spaghetti dish. I love to bake. Connect with me and ask me about baking the world's best cookies, right? And then you start a debate. Someone's like, I got the best. Oh, I got the best, right? You never know. That may turn into a side business of cookies, right? You sell people cookies. I love art. Connect and ask me about the Picasso I have at the house, right? Or the painting I did in the 3rd grade that's still hanging on the wall. You just never know where that fun fact will take you. And that's why you need to have it. That's why it's one of the most critical parts actually of your entire profile is the fun fact at the end of your about section, right? Because everyone else is listing skills, etc. You got to stand out. You've got to be different. You've got to build your brand, right? And your brand is a lot of times around the things you love, the things you're good at, the things you just naturally do. So example for me, I like to be in nature. So for me, I might put a fun fact, about the earthworm maze, right? That's a fun fact. I may also put that, I've done a lot of different nature things. One time I climbed a cliff because I got lost with a friend in a park, and it wasn't that big. It was maybe a 60-foot high cliff or so, just a rock cliff. No gear or anything. Like literally I had tennis shoes on because we were at the park and we got lost and we didn't want to, we had the macho stuff, right? We were bravado guys. So we didn't want to turn around and act like we were lost and go back the way we came. So we said, hey, let's go up this cliff. Let's climb this. So it was very interesting. He was like 3 times my size. He kept slipping and slamming me in my head as I was trying to climb up. So I'd lose my grip and I'd be hanging by one hand. And a great story, right? But that's something I might list there. And that would start a conversation, right? So that's all that fun fact is. Something to start a conversation when people are actually looking at your profile.